Hi there everyone, I'm Trisha Clemens with MuttButs.com. Today I want to talk about your business's website host. This is the second in my series of your online business's identity. The first I talked about was your domain name. So now we're talking about hosting. And if you'll remember when I talked about the difference in your domain versus your host is basically, think of it like your tiny house. It is where you keep all of your stuff, your data, your all of your files for your website, so that people can find it. So that is what your host does. It keeps all of your data and it gives it a place online for people to find it. So let's say you have a website and you don't have a host. Nobody can find your website because it's not online for people to see and find. So your website host is really crucial. Now, the first thing that people think is, how do I find a good, reputable website host? A lot of that, if you have a website designer or developer that's really good, and you need to have a good one, you can check my last video for that, but you definitely need to have a good and reputable website designer. And a lot of times your designer can also host and maintain your site for you. If they can't, they can refer you to someone who can do that. So a lot of people might say, well, it's just the host. All I do is I put my files up there and put my information on there, and then people can find my website. So let me try and do something that's inexpensive. That is not the best option for you. You don't want to just find the cheapest website host, because your host can be extremely crucial to your business. It needs to be reliable, and by that it needs to have a good uptime and not much downtime. Let's say the website host that you're using has a high downtime period. Somebody goes to your site to buy something, the website's not up and working, then they may go someplace else and buy it. They may forget, not come back. You need to have your website up and working most of the time. You need to find a good host that has a very minimal, if any, downtime. Most hosting companies out there have so many different servers and backups that you really shouldn't see much of any type of downtime. So make sure that is extremely crucial. The other thing is the speed. So the speed is important for several reasons. You need to make sure that your website is fast, because with Google and all of the other search engines, they take that into account when they have the ranking for the websites. So let's say you have really good content on your website, however, your website has a really, really low speed as far as how long it takes for it to load and come up. Google and the other search engines are going to ding it. It is going to come up much lower in the search, if at all. So you've spent so much time and money creating that content. Make sure your website host is fast. The other thing is, with speed, you know how we get squirreled. You know how it's just like dogs. They see a squirrel and they run. We're online, and if we click on a website and it doesn't come up in a couple seconds, we don't have time for that. We're moving on to something else. So if you've got a client, a potential customer coming to your website, you need it to be fast. You need it to get them to that sale place as fast as you can, so that you make that sale. A lot of times people don't have patience anymore. They're not going to wait around for your website to load to place that order. They may go someplace else. That's another reason that a good web host is really crucial for your business. Another thing is support. You may have something come up with your website that goes wrong, something that happens. If you have a good website host, you'll be able to contact them and get help from them. There are a lot of website hosts out there that don't really offer much at all in the line of support. And like most small businesses, you are busy running your business. You don't have time to go and find out how to fix that website problem. So you want to have a web host that has really a good support. The other thing is your backup. Make sure that you keep a backup of your website, because if anything happens, any of the data gets corrupted, whatever happens to it, you want to make sure that you're able to just switch right over and get your information and get that set up so that you don't have that downtime. That's really important so that you don't lose your data. Your backup is in case there's anything wrong and the data that's on the host gets lost or corrupted. You want to make sure you have a backup of your information and you're able to really get that up and going and don't have to recreate. That could be really expensive, having to recreate that. So one of the things a lot of people ask is, well, how do I find a good web host? There are several, there are quite a few out there that I recommend. WP Engine, SiteGround, Bluehost, those are just a couple. There are a lot more that are good. What I would say is talk to your website designer and ask them about it, because chances are they may either offer the service to help you with that or can refer you to someone that can. And I do really recommend for businesses to have someone do their website maintenance and hosting. The reason is because if you have someone on there constantly looking at your website, making sure everything is up to date, everything is current, that means you're going to have less chance of it getting viruses and hacked, and you're going to be up to date. Nothing's going to break all of the time, and they will know as soon as, if something goes wrong, they'll know it immediately and they'll be able to go in and fix it. You won't have to wait and figure it out, because again, your website, it needs to be up and running so that you don't lose that business. So that's one thing that your website designer and developer can be really useful and helpful. Make sure you get somebody to help you do your website maintenance, especially with all the websites, they're different things. You have something that's updated. I love WordPress. There are updates with the plugins, with the software. You need to know about those and you need to get them updated as soon as possible, because a lot of times those updates are in there because people have found ways to hack them, or there is something wrong with it, there's a bug in it. So you want to make sure you keep up to date, and let's face it, you have a lot going on in your business. It's easy to have someone else take care of that for you, but it needs to be someone reputable. If you have any questions, I love the WordPress community, and there are lots of people in the WordPress community that can help you with that and that are reputable, and that we also know to tell you ones to stay away from and ones to refer you to as well. So that's another reason that I love the WordPress community. So basically, the bottom line when thinking about your host, cheapest is not the best for your website host, as I talked about. When you're thinking about your website, you have to think about your business. How much time, money, and effort have you put into your business to get it where it is? If you're sending people to your website and your website is glitchy, not working, not up, is slow loading, they're going to be squirreled and off someplace else. They're either going to go to a competitor, or they're going to just forget about it, and maybe you won't ever get that sale back. Maybe you will, but maybe you won't. You want that sale right then and there. That's why your website is extremely important, and a reason why your website host is really important as well. I hope that I helped explain this a little bit to you so that you know not to go out and get the cheapest website host, but to get a good, reputable website host. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you soon. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I will come back and answer them for you. Thanks so much, everyone. See you soon.